All right, we continue with our Ram Country conversations here as we get into the month of May, and we're going to turn our attention to football. And of course, welcome in head coach Steve Addazio. Coach, great to see you. And I know you and I talked last week on Friday, but give Ram fans out there a bit of an idea of what a typical day is like for a college football coach as it stands right now.
Well, I can tell you what our day's like, and that's every morning we start with a staff meeting at 7 a.m. That's usually an hour. From there, we break off into offensive and defensive staff meetings. And those are anywhere from game planning to recruiting-based evaluation of tape, etc. Then at noon, we start basically all phone calls revolving around recruiting, and which go into some Zoom recruiting. Then in the afternoon at 2:30, we start with the team. We have a team meeting. We break from team meeting to offensive, defensive unit meetings to individual meetings. And then after that, I'm usually back on the phone with more recruiting and or donor events. So, I'm pretty much straight through from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. At least. And so honestly, I feel like it's been more restrictive now, in terms of I can't really get out of the house. I can't seem to, I can't even work out. There's nothing I'm trying to take a walk once in a while. It's hard to get out of here. So you sit around, you eat, and you talk football and you talk recruiting. And I may roll back into Fort Collins, around 300 or something. I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah.
You mentioned and again, I've seen a lot of stuff on social media. You guys are getting a lot of commitments, and I know it's going well. You can't talk about those specific players, but tell me a little bit about recruiting and how it has changed in this new environment.
Well, I've always believed recruiting's got to be driven by the head coach. And so we have a pretty systematic, every morning we meet, we lay out the films that need to be evaluated. We lay out the notes that need to be written. We lay out the phone calls that need to be had. Everything's out. And then we review at the end of the week, each coach, how many evaluations they've made, how many phone calls they made, and try to stay on top of it. You got to drive it. And recruiting is contacts. Recruiting is effort and work, building relationships. And you can't do that if you're not on the phone with them and in contact with them in various different ways. We are working extremely hard right now in recruiting, and it's paying off for us, obviously. And we're attacking the state like I said we would, and we're going to continue to do that. And I think people will be able to follow, kind of what we got going on. And there's a lot of productivity. At the end of the day, recruiting's got to be about productivity. And there's a lot of productivity right now, and I'm excited about that. So, X's and O's and all that stuff, they're important, but Jimmy's and Joe's and quality of your players is what makes the program.
Final thought before we let you go, Steve. And I know when we spoke last week, one of the things that stood out to me was your positivity. We talked about, what are the contingencies going into this college football season, but you've kept a positive outlook throughout this whole thing, right? And you expect to kick off against the Buffaloes at Canvas Stadium on September 5th, don't you?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I'm the leader of an organization, and it's up for the leaders to set the standard. Now, you want to follow a guy that's going to be doom and gloom? No. You want to follow a guy that's going to be negative? No. Anybody want to hang around with a guy that's negative and doom and gloom? No. Listen, do I have a crystal ball? No, I do not. And is safety a priority? Yes. Is the most important thing the safety of our student athletes? 100%. Do I think that football is more important than, human safety? No. Okay. However, I know that we'll be ready to play CU on September 5th, and I know we'll play, okay? And I'm excited about it. And my message to our team is every day, under the terms and the guidelines that have been set forth, we have to get a little bit better. We're in a race against CU for September 5th. And all we got to make sure is that every day we're maximizing the day and we're doing a little bit more than they're doing. And that's where you got to keep your focus right now. And that's what I believe in. And I'm a big believer in America, You know, we're in this unbelievable country where we have the smartest and the best and the brightest in every field, and we're going to find different, you know, modalities, different medicines, different treatments, different methods to keep people safe, and we're going to start as a country to open back up as we are, and you know, we're just hoping that sooner than later, but certainly not at the expense of anybody's safety.
Right.
And when we're ready to go, we'll be ready to go. I mean, and that's how this is going to roll, you know. So if they say next week, man, you're full bore. Of course they won't be, but we will be. If they say, and you know, if someone asked me, well, you know, they're talking about the 6-week plan and the 8-week plan and the 4-week plan. I said, as far as I'm sure, you give me a 1-week plan. We'll be ready to play. They tell us on August 22nd, you're playing on September 5th. We'll be ready to play.
Right.
So that's the mindset for me. And it's full steam ahead. You've got the goal. You've got it there, and you're pulling towards that goal. Why? Because that's what you can do.
You bet. Steve, thanks so much for taking a little time out of your schedule, and looking forward to seeing you and your team on the practice field coming up in August.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll be ready to Ram clash here, and I hope that everybody's come by and, you know, if it's willing, watch a little practice and watch us get ready for September 5th. See ya on that date.
I love it. All right, Steve Addazio, head football coach at Colorado State. Thanks for joining us right here on Ram Country Conversations.